Hello there. Welcome to this altcoin daily episode with Bitcoin Gorilla. Today episode we'll be looking at Origin Protocol. I may know any other token but OGN. Now we will be looking at weekly chart, right? But before we jump right straight into it, let's first of all know a little bit about what is actually the OGN token. That is the Origin token. Now before I start, if you've not subscribed, you would want to subscribe. The reason being that we are on a mission to actually deciphering all these altcoin one by one. We are taking them down. So in case you have an altcoin in your portfolio and you want us to analyze it, just drop it in the comment section. Drop the name of the altcoin and I will analyze it. Now our analysis is done with simple pure price action. Now I developed the strategy myself that I'm using. It's strictly developed by me. You're not going to find it anywhere else, right? So the strategy is used by Makaveli traders. So if you want to learn, you can come to Makaveli traders. Now, if you enjoy this video, at the end of this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up because I read Bitcoin Gorilla and thanks in advance. So first of all, let's understand what is Origin Protocol. Now, NFT, right? When you talk about NFT, you talk about Origin Protocol. Now, what is Origin Protocol? Now, Origin Protocol is bringing NFT and DeFi to the masses. Origin flagship products are Origin Story, which has supported numerous high-profile NFT drops, right? Origin has a stablecoin also known as OUSD. This OUSDT stablecoin enables you to earn automatically. Once you have the coin in your wallet, you will be earning yield automatically, some profit, right? Now Origin experience, the thing is the people that work with Origin, the team behind it are powerful engineers for iconic tech companies like YouTube, Google, PayPal, Dropbox. These are people that make up this team. So we have a very strong team behind this OGN. Now, this is the website of the OGN. So how does this whole thing work? The OGN makes it so easy that top big NFT artists can actually own their own website and sell their NFT without paying a dime until somebody buys. So they give you access to create a website, a custom website in your name, upload your work and sell all your work, have your profile. Now unlike other exchange other marketplaces of NFT, there are other marketplaces you only have your profile. In this situation you're going to have an entire website dedicated to your work, right? So this really makes OGN quite different from all the marketplaces in terms of NFT, which this is where most big NFTs that you've heard of has really been what brought to the public, the marketplace, right? So now today we're going to look at the OGM price, right? Using simple price action. So the first thing I'm going to do now that we understand OGM, okay, before we even go, I want to look at the all-time high and all-time low that OGN has ever seen. So the last all-time high was $3.39. That was 8 months ago, right? Around April. Now OGN has dropped by 80% since then, and currently it is trading at 0.6 what 6522. And at the same time, the all-time low that OGN has ever seen was in January 2020, that's 2 years ago, which was 0.1032. Right now it's a lot above that. Now I want us to actually look at this coin. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick the most important areas on my chart, right? The support and resistance levels. I'm using my horizontal trend line. Now, if you know my analysis, I don't use indicators. It's simple, pure price action. Now, this coin is stuck in an area. I can see it clearly that there's been little or no movement since the dump, right? You can see it's literally just in an area since the dumps, which means since the listing of this coin, it was able to just move to a little and it has been on the downside. So what is in store for OGN in 2022? Let's move forward. I'm going to implement now the box strategy, my strategy. So I'm going to contain everything in a box that happened to OGN. OGN. So I'm going to zoom in so that we will further see this chart. If you're new to price action, don't worry, it's going to be easy because I'll be telling you what I'm seeing and why I'm seeing. So the first thing I'm going to get is my support. Now this is the obvious support that the price has been respecting since it arrived right to this zone. So you can see the support. What about the resistance? Now to get this resistance, I want to go to daily because there's not really much chart since the dawn, and I can see that the resistance is a little bit up here. You can see this zone. I can extend it. So if I zoom out, you can see that price was rejected in this area, right? So this area becomes my resistance area. My what? My resistance area. So now that I've gotten my resistance area and also the support of the bigger box, I think I can also contain this whole thing that has happened since the dump. The price got the area that price got to and has failed to actually make any further movement. I want you to see. Let me zoom in so that you can see what I'm doing. Let me change the color of this bulb to probably red or something to help us differentiate the different. Okay, so now we can see. So I want to get the support and resistance of this new box that I just draw. Remember, this strategy is not out there, but you can learn it and you can work more on it. I use it mostly for futures, and if you know me, I trade high leverage. I'm a high leverage trader because I believe that leverage is used to help you maximize opportunities. So I believe in high leverage than I believe in using less capital, more leverage in my trading. So I do have trading laws that I trade with, and my family, which is Makaveli traders, is a team of price action traders, right? That I have trained. I trained 3 months. Once you come into the family, you're going to get an intensive 3 months training on Zoom, and then you're going to have access to all the trading books. I share all my trade. So each trade I enter, I tell you the ones that fail, the one that you're going to see it. We post all our results, and everybody takes the trade. So it's a general house where everybody trade together. So if you want to know more about Makaveli traders, remember access is only 3 times in a year. Don't get scammed. We only have access open January's, May, and October. No, you cannot get into Makaveli Trader except through this period when access is open. And this is the reason is because we are trying to control how many people get into Makaveli Trader. So in a year, it's only 3 times you can get into Makaveli Traders. But we have a free channel where we always post updates. Now, okay, back to the chart. So I can see that clearly I can get a bias line right at this point. So I'm going to implement a bias line. I've gotten my support and resistance for the two boxes that I've drawn, and you can see that there's a clear bias line that was broken right here. You can see that. You can see there's one here, there's another one, there's another one. So it was clearly destroyed in this point, right? And what is currently saving us, saving OGN is this support area, right? Remember that I said this is the support area and this is a resistance area. Now the thing about this support area is there is a threat on that support area, but what are the chances that they can hold through? Right now, there's another support which is right here. This point is also a support. So will price get to this point or will price hold up this current support? This is what we're going to be finding out more. But before we do that, I want to go back to the weekly chart. So this is what the price looks like in the weekly chart, right? So the reason is I want to see the candles, right? I want to have a closer view at the candles. So I want to currently there's no bullish sign on this support. There's no bullish sign because the current candle we have is an inside bar, right? We have this bar, which is an inside bar. This particular bar is an inside bar, right? Now this inside bar currently has not even been broken, right? It's like a pregnant woman. This is a baby. This is a baby inside this big bar, right? It's either it breaks below it and goes lower, or it breaks above it and go up. Now there will be a struggle, some sort of sideways, right? According to how the inside bar works, there will be some sort of sideways to break this, which will go sideways. Now this is weekly chart, so let's go back to the daily chart and see the sideways that is developing. So you can see the current sideways. So in this sideways, price needs to break below. Let's go back to the weekly weekly chart and see where that price is. Price needs to break below here and above this point. Now, here is the beautiful thing about this whole thing. When price breaks below this inside bar, it does not really disqualify the inside bar because price needs to break below this point to disqualify the entire um, outside bar before it, right? Because this one completely engulfed this one. So the thing about this is, when even if price return, price could battle breaking this. So there could be another price holding this support. Remember, this entire area is support. So price could hold this. Now that's based on the candles we are seeing on the weekly chart, right? Now there will be a struggle to break this support, but if they persist, now one thing that could lead to this persistence is if Bitcoin really continues to dump. Because one thing about this altcoin is they can't resist really not going down when Bitcoin go down. And you have to understand this because when Bitcoin start going down, a lot of people start to FOMO and start taking their money off of altcoin because they feel like everything is going to dump. So Bitcoin being the king, once Bitcoin start reacting, most of these altcoin people start pulling their money out, right? This is why a lot of times you have to really pay attention to what is happening on Bitcoin because most times, yes, if you want to understand how Bitcoin pumps and altcoin dumps and altcoin pumps and Bitcoin stays stagnant, it's because you need to understand Bitcoin dominance. There's a chart called Bitcoin dominance. Now, the Bitcoin dominance gives you the dominance of Bitcoin over altcoins, right? If you know the dominance of Bitcoin over altcoin, it does not guarantee that when the Bitcoin dominance is showing positive and going up, it does not mean that Bitcoin will entirely defeat all altcoin. Now, it just means that Bitcoin is currently dominating above majority of altcoin. So price is likely going up more on Bitcoin compared to other altcoin. Other altcoins could be going up, but they could not, if you compare them to all the altcoin, they will not have what Bitcoin is. The money entering Bitcoin. Now, when Bitcoin dominance is going down, majority of time it's just telling you that more money right now is entering altcoins, right? So which means people are taking their money from Bitcoin, and this happens a lot of time based on this. If you know the pairing between Bitcoin and altcoin, you can have SRP BTC, you have Ethereum BTC, LTC BTC, BNB BTC. You know that kind of pairing. Now, what this pairing does really do affect price movement because a lot of people switch their money, right? You see somebody that okay, when they notice that Bitcoin dominance is going up and price of money is entering more Bitcoin, you see a lot of people swapping their coin from altcoin to Bitcoin, right? And majority of time you see either altcoin don't move at all or some of them even start dumping. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is moving. The cause of that situation is people moving money from altcoin into Bitcoin and people swapping their altcoin into Bitcoin. It's easy done on exchanges, right? Now, most times now when altcoin has alt Bitcoin dominance shows good positivity and altcoin is showing negativity, most people start moving money from Bitcoin and moving into altcoin. So if you really need to understand how Bitcoin dominance works, and just know that when Bitcoin dominance is going down, does not mean that it's all the altcoin that is pumping. It could just be few, right? But the money entering those few seems to be above the money entering Bitcoin. So always know that you have to do your analysis before you say, oh, altcoin and Bitcoin dominance is going up. That means I need to go and buy any altcoin. No, you need want to really research that altcoin. Do your technical analysis. For me, I believe in technical analysis over news, right? I'm a price action trader. I believe in the kind of news, the support and resistance that they have good to tell me. So now that back to the chart, all right. So now that we look at the chart, we need a break, right? And the good thing about the current point where price is that the good thing about where price is currently is that it is within my support, right? So whatever price is going to get a bounce. I do see a bounce coming, right? I do see a bounce coming to retest the top of this point. This point, there will be a retest of this point in OGM. So 1.5, 1.3 to 1.5 is going to come. So OGM is likely going to return to this point. So why then did it break the support if it's going to return to this point? Why? The reason that it broke the support, but the reason that it broke the support could be stop loss hunt, right? I always talk about stop loss hunt where whales just feel that there's a bigger support, especially for those who treat support as a line, right? You just pierce and break the support, and then a lot of people get kicked out. A lot of times it's happened to trend lines, a lot of time. Trend line, this is why personally I use three types of support. Put it all in one, that's what makes my strategy. I use a lot of support, and especially my box strategy. It makes me treat it as an area. So when OGN entered this my box area, I already know that OGN is within a support. Okay, now all I need is a good bullish sign for me to really pick up and say I want to take an entry. Now, what is the worst case? Now, the scenario I just showed you is the bull scenario that they could likely move and attack this 1.5. Now, let's go back and zoom ahead and see how many times they have attacked. Now, this will be their third attack, and I don't expect them to actually break it that easily, right? I expect them to have multiple attack, maybe probably. Here's the thing, depending on the demand that is lying in this current zone, because there need to be enough demand, right? If they attack this point, if the demand is high, they will make it to this point, right? If the demand is high, they will make it to this point. If the demand is low, they will stop here and pull back, right? And try to stay above this support. This time around, they'll try to stay above this support, right? So if they try to stay above this support to make the tip of the support, then they will attack this point again. This time around, they will break this point, right? Them breaking this point will take them to $2, right? And they could now return and then before attacking this point because I do see OGM going back to $3.5. Now, this is going to be 2022, and you have to be very patient. Why I need you to be very patient with OGM is the fact that OGM is stuck in a sideways market, and a sideways market take a long time. You can never know when it's going to break out. The cost of sideways market is equilibrium between supply and demand. The people who are buying and the people who are selling seems to be in equilibrium. So they are kind of canceling each other out. So $10,000 enter the market, $10,000 equally leaves the market, and it dumps back to where it started, right? Another 10,000, another $2 million of orders came in, and $2 million sell instantly took it out. So for price to move, demand has to be more than supply. And for price to move up, that's demand must be above supply. And for price to move down, supply must be more than demand. So whenever you see price dumping, just know that more people are either selling, taking profit, or shorting the market. This is what leads price to go down, right? And there's a secret that in price action that says that sometimes price just fall on its own weight. Now that's when price has really been too extended, it falls on its own weight, but that's not a topic for this video. But in terms of price being in sideways, support and buyers and sellers are in equilibrium, giving us this move that we're seeing right now. So what we need now is we need enough demand, and I do see that demand coming. Why do I see that demand? Because there's a support just right here, right? And any support area is a demand area. This is also support, right? Which means there's demand in this zone, right? So depending on this support, and this is really strong support. It's not that weak, right? Looking at how far it has held them, but you can never just tell. That's why it's good to put your hand on this particular support, right? Around 0.4 down to 0.3, right? Put your hand on that support, but it could not touch it, but it could, right? Just to be open-minded. This is trading and crypto for that matter. I am always open-minded and looking out to see the possibility of things really changing direction. Now, that is the worst, the BS I do see them going this point. But if there's any changes, I will jump right into it and update you as soon as possible. But for now, I do see really price battling to break this point, and they could make a several attempt and then they will move. We need real money to really enter OGM. That is possible in 2022, but I do see the crypto market in some aspect of 2022 experiencing a downside, right? Because of what Bitcoin is really not looking good. And I know that if Bitcoin goes down, it's going to affect a lot of coin. This is why I keep hammering in every of my video. Please use stop loss. Protect yourself. It is better to get scratched and live to fight another day than to blow your entire account or to get yourself in a stock that the loss is too huge that you can't escape, but forced to actually hold the coin for as long as you don't want to. Remember, this is trading unless you are a holder and you are planning for a long-term investment. If you are really a trader and you live for trading, then know that you make money from moving money. It is you being able to move money, take profit, and then buy again is how you make money. Remember, I am Bitcoin Gorilla. If you do find this video quite entertaining, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. The next altcoin could be the one in your portfolio. Who knows? Happy trading.